you guys enjoy. Okay, first of all, today we do the live interview with Mestre Arisco. He's my teacher and my master from Frankfurt, from Germany. And we just get started, and maybe you got some questions more. So the first question is like, how long have you been training Capoeira? So when did you start and how many years?
Okay, I started in 1993, 27 years ago, here in Frankfurt with my teacher, Pastorka. And in this time, my teacher, Pastorka, was part of the group Sensala, with Mestre Arisco and Mestre Arisco. And so my first participation also was inside from the Sensala group with Mestre Arisco. And then my teacher Pastorka, who lives now in Austria, he's Mestre Pastorka. He changed to the group Abada Capoeira, and in 1995 I went the first time to Brazil, and there I get to know of all the people from Abada Capoeira, and I was excited. And this was also the first time I met Mestre Arisco. I had the luck to took a training with him, and I was what the fuck? Wow, I was fascinated from this guy, and so I kept it in my mind. And first 1996, my teacher Pastorka left Frankfurt, so we stood alone here, and with time I gave the classes and till today. And 1997 I went to the second time to Brazil, and then I went also to Vitória Espírito Santos to meet Mestre Arisco and his students, and it was a very good time for me because I could stay in his academy all day. I was with the people from Capoeira, and every training I can catch, and I saw many things, I learned many things, and this time it was very important for me. So I was involved with Mestre Arisco all the time. 2003, I left Abada Capoeira, and many people also, and with the time, because of the connection with Mestre Arisco and me, I got part of his group, ACAPOEIRA, and till now he's my master. So that's a short story of my capoeira history.
Yeah, perfect. So in all the years now, it's like 26 or 27 years you're training capoeira?
27 years.
27 years.
Yeah.
A lot of time. It's more than your half life.
What will I say? Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, and how do you get to capoeira? Like, you saw a movie, or you saw the guys did a order in the street, or you played a crazy video game like Tekken and you said, I want to be like this guy, Eddie?
No. When I began capoeira, I think also Tekken and Only the Strong was after this. It was 2, 3, 4 years after this. And it was a friend of mine, he talked to me, he said well, there's something, it's like a martial art, but with music and movements, and I didn't know what it is, and one day I get there, trained. But in my first training was like, I was like a little bit confused, and I was like, first training it was like, I don't like it. But then,
you did? Yeah.
No, I did it 2 times. Then I moved for 3 months to Bremen, and there I worked and lived, but I have no friends. I knew no anybody, and so I saw some propaganda, Werbung.
Advertising.
Yes, and with Capoeira, and I thought about, okay, let's go there, and I do 3 times training in Bremen, and then I came back to Frankfurt and said, it was good. It's Capoeira, it's a cool thing, and I want to train, and I was very fascinated of this energy and how to move. Yes, this was my start.
And when you started Capoeira in Frankfurt, there was many people practicing already, or just a small group?
It was only one group in Frankfurt, and it was perhaps about 10 or 15 people, small group, and everything was new. And this group exists perhaps 1 year before I started. It was more or less the first step in Frankfurt with Capoeira. Yes.
Okay. And from the past, the differences to the past and today, what changed in?
I think yes.
Yeah. Well, what are the differences? Like in the past, the Capoeira was more aggressive, or maybe more focused on acrobatics or stuff like this.
I think you have now the same thing like in the past, but the way to behave with these things is different. Also because now everything about Capoeira you can see in YouTube and Instagram and I don't know, Facebook, and it's more okay. You try to do more nice games because there's a camera. that's my way to what I think. And also in the 90s, it was like every group wants to be like, okay, this is our group and we want to be best, like a club. And there's another club, and when 2 groups come together, often it happens that it was more aggressive. Now it's more open-minded, yes. But what I think today, the whole thing with the social medias, and that you can, when I search music or a movement, I can look in Google. It's very easy, and it's so much. So you look one thing, you look the other thing, and in the end you have nothing or anything. No? And in the old times it was like, I had one video from a hoarder from Amsterdam, and I knew every movement of every game from every player because I watched this video 1,000 times, and I learned little things, and I saw the little things, I saw the mistakes, and I saw, wow, this is cool when you do it like this and put something else about. Then this was the way how we learned with less things. And today you have so much, but in the end it depends of yourself what you catch about, and it's very difficult to catch these things today because it's too much.
Yeah, I think also like this, if you go on Instagram or YouTube and you just swipe one video to the next video, you just looking for the crazy stuff like saltos and I don't know, crazy throws, quebradas, but you don't look at the moves anymore.
Yeah.
And I can imagine in the past, if you have just 1 or 2 movies, small.
Yes.
It's just like this. You can't see
it was very different in the past. Also, when we have had a order or something like it was something very special when there's coming people from outside because they haven't been so much people in the past. In Frankfurt, and in this region, it was Frankfurt, and then, I don't know, the next was perhaps in Kassel.
Okay.
I don't know how far it is, Kassel.
Yeah. I don't know either.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is how it was in the past. And now, how do you think the people can get better at Capoeira with this much of information? And because often the people come to me, or I hear from people like, I don't know what to train to get better. I do a lot of stuff. I start parkour now. Maybe I get better at this, and this will help me in Capoeira. But I don't think it's like this. So maybe you have something like you should do something like this to get better.
I don't know for everybody, but for me, how I train for me myself, I train like easy stuff.
So just
like basic training, how to switch my arms to be good in a ginga, to make my kicks bem alongado, no say, and I don't
nice
know English.
And stretch.
Not thank you. And things like this. And perhaps, okay, you want to learn acrobatic, okay, you train this, but for your game, it's only basic, and only, for me, less is more. Because when you train, today I train this, and tomorrow I train this, and I have so much ideas, also when you are a beginner, how will you put this in your game?
Yeah, it's different.
You see, sometimes there are people, they're beginners, and they make Armada con Martello in an Angola game, and make a Tranza in a Salvento game.
Okay, but that's maybe more because they don't know.
Yes, they don't know, but they put everything, and it's without, because they have too much movements.
Yeah.
They don't train the basic.
So if the people want to get better, first of all, stay with your basics and do it all over again, like 100 times Ole, 100 times Armada.
Yes.
It's a bit like silly training, but you get better.
You get better, yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
It takes a lot. So, yeah. And for the advanced people, like, okay, this is more for the beginners, like, you have to train the basic stuff. Now we have some advanced people who stuck at some point. They stuck in a level and they don't get better. They go to train, maybe they train by their own, but they don't involve much. You got something like, okay, for the advanced guys, I think it's also the basics.
Yes, I think it's also the basics. You have also to train the basics. Today I train also the basics for me. And this thing I stuck, I'm on this point, I don't know. When you have this in your head, it's very difficult. You have to think about, okay, there's no limit. I can when I want. It's possible. And you have to play in orders. And in these games, sometimes you, in English, I don't know, entwickelst du dich plötzlich weiter. How do you say this?
You involve suddenly.
Thanks. Yes.
Okay.
This is what I think. Because often it's like, okay, you are in your training with your group, with the people you know, and you think, okay, it's every time the same thing. Okay, he's doing this, she's doing this, and I do this. So you're stuck. But you have to put in your brain, today, okay, it's the same people, but doesn't matter. I try to do something different and try to do something I'm fascinated about.
So that once people should try something new sometimes.
Yes, sometimes, or in another way.
Yeah. Okay, so they have to go in the order and don't do the same things like they do every time. Like they have to do one time Hastera and or maybe Quebrada or new Florero to feel comfortable with it.
Right?
No. Yeah, yours, baby. I think even for me, it's like, okay, I go to a hoarder and I play inside and doing all the time the same. Like, okay, I do my relay this way and then I do myself, and I saw that I always start with some other again.
Yes, but that's the way you make a reflection of yourself and see, okay, this I do every time. What can I change? But it depends of you, if you want to see these things or only stay at the side of the hall and like, I don't know, I'm stuck with these things. No, it depends of your view of the things, what you're doing. You have to make your own reflection about yourself.
Oh.
And when you have luck, you have a teacher who can say to you, who can make your reflection. But this is difficult. Also, this in old times, nobody explained anything. It's like something shows something, and the people do perhaps the same.
Yeah, okay. If you got any questions, guys, just let us know. Lagatisha sent a question like, who has been inspiring you now or in the past or since now from the past? Like one master or one guy who does crazy stuff, or I don't know.
Okay, my main inspiration is for sure Mestre Arisco, because over the years, every time I got something from him, I don't can explain it, but it was for me a good inspiration and a good motivation also. There are also other masters like Mestre Sabia from Jingamundu. It's a nice game and a nice way to think about capoeira. And what I like is also capoeira Angola. I like it. Sometimes I watch videos from Angola horders, or I go to Angola horders. My first workshop in '93 was an Angola workshop, and yes, I like it very much. It's for me also a nice thing. Yes, but for sure it's Mestre Arisco who is who make a big part of this what I am.
Okay, I think we answered the question of Lagatisha. And somebody asked, like, how did you overcome the fear to buy in a game?
Again, what?
How did you overcome the fear to buy in a game, in the hoarder? Because I know many beginners, they're standing on the side in the hoarder, but they want to play, but they have fear to buy.
It's difficult. It's like everything in life. It's like you are in a dancing place and nobody is dancing and you want to, but you don't go. But when there are some people and they invite you to go, perhaps you go also and you have fun. You have to try to think about you want to do this because of your fun and not to how do you say beweisen? Man muss sich nichts beweisen.
Don't have to prove yourself.
Yes, something like this. It's first also for the beginners. You do capoeira to have fun. And I think the people which train with you, you can trust. It's your group, your teacher. So what will happen?
Yeah. So it's like, when you're in your own group and it's your own order, no problem. But I think also outside, if you go to groups like, I go to many hoarders from other groups, and okay, I'm advanced, but I always say to my students, just buy. Nothing can happen. Like, you're a beginner, nobody will kill you.
Yes, nobody.
And if you buy too much, the master of this hoarder or this guy who leads this will say, okay, stay outside, you you buy too much.
Yeah, it can happen, yes.
So, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So
there's the same system. You go there to have fun. And when you stay at the side and look and think about, oh, can I go? At the end, you didn't play. You go home with a bad feeling. For what? So bye. It's the only way.
Yeah. Okay. Chin Chin asked also a question about
Chin Chin.
How? What was the question? Chin Chin, what was the question? It was like, what makes a good capoeira class? So, how do you teach a good capoeira class? What should be in there? It was something like this. I don't remember. It goes so fast by.
I think it depends which sort of class. When you make a class for your group and you know you have today training and 2 days after you have training, and you can make step for step everything, or you can repeat it in the next training, then it's very important to see what your students are doing. You can't say, today I have a good idea and I put it, and doesn't matter who's in my training. I think this is very, the students will be like, okay, what happened? When you make a class in a workshop or something like this, it's good to give the people, the students, ideas, and perhaps they catch 1 or 2 ideas for to train or for their game. I hope I could answer this question a little bit.
Okay. Then we have Santos. Santos asked a question like, it's still up there. What do you think about doing other sports? For example, workout, training with weights, beside capoeira, to get better?
You can do it. No, I think it's good, yes, but you don't have to. When you are so capoeira, then you train every day capoeira, and you do a lot of things with your body, so you don't have to make weightlifting, or I don't know, but for sure it helps.
Okay.
It helps also when you do, I don't know, parkour or boxing or yes, but you don't have to make capoeira.
And Marion sent a question like, what, or I don't know in English at the moment, more like, what does you motivate you for teaching capoeira? Like, is it to see your students involved, or is it just for you because you love teaching?
I think it's a little bit the way which how I do capoeira. Since 96, I give classes and I had no teacher. Become training when I was on a workshop or when I went to Brazil. So since 96, I gave training, and it was also for me my training. So this is one point, and the other point is for sure my students. And also to when I teach, in the end, with this teaching, I learn a lot of. I think I learn more capoeira than my students when I teach, and it's for me a good class because I put things in my training, and then I see what the students are doing with this, and this is like a reflection for me, and I think, oh no, or yes, and I can put something on it. So for me, it's a good kind of own learning. But the most motivation is, I think, for my students, and for myself. Yes, these two things.
Okay. And Gogula is asking now, how do you push yourself to go beyond your limits? So it's more like, how do you motivate yourself?
I think it depends of in which part of your life you are. When I've been 20, the motivation was different to today. Today I'm a little bit older than 20. Only a little bit, yes. And I think with 20 you think, oh, okay, I see this other guy and I want to play with him and I want to be on this on the same
Level
like him, or sometimes better, and this is a kind of motivation. But this motivation today in my age, it's not like this. It's only for me to have a good feeling to see, wow, this can happen when I try it, wenn ich es zulasse. Wie sagt man das?
Ja.
Du sagst mal ja, when I try it heißt, wenn ich es zulasse. Dankeschön. So, die deutschen Leute, ihr habt alles verstanden?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think. Is there one more question or not? Maybe I didn't see all the questions, so if you still got a question, put it in the comments. Because the scrolling is very difficult. And I got one more question, like, what is a good hoarder for you?
A good order is, first of all, that all the people wie sagt man, haben Lust.
Have fun.
What?
Have fun. Or they have
Not fun, it's
they
like
have to be in the mood for a hoarder.
that everybody wants to be
Part
of the order and to play, to make music, because often it's like there are big events and you have perhaps 20 people who plays and 20 other people who are like, oh, the training was hard, so I stand at the side and sometimes I clap hands and perhaps I think this is for me not a good order. It's for me it's good when the people who comes want to be part of the order. So for me it's better I have a order with 10 people who are motivated than with 50 people where are 10 not motivated. That's one point. The other point is for sure good music. So you can have a good energy in the order. And what is the third point is that you can have games where you can wo man sich weiterentwickeln kann, wo man aus sich rausgehen kann.
Where you can evolve.
Yes, thank you. And where you can perhaps try things, because when you are only playing with people, well, there's a harder where only people you don't trust, then you will do in the end perhaps nothing or anything. And this sometimes you have to do this sort of game, okay, but for a long time, it's not so much fun.
Alongado sent also one more question. What is missing in Alongado? Sasha.
Russia.
Like what is missing in German capoeira? I think he means like there's something different in German capoeira to Brazil capoeira. Is there missing something or not? Just a short answer.
Okay. What is different to Brazil is for sure okay. When in Brazil the music, the people sing something and everybody knows what happened in the order, or there's something from the song what says something about the game, and this you have not so much here in Germany because of the language.
Okay, because of the
but
language.
I think the rest is very
quite
similar. Yeah.
And Onsa is asking, what was your best and what was your worst moment in capoeira life? That's a really good question.
Oh. Yes.
Let's start with the worst.
The worst time in my capoeira life was for sure when a student from me died, and yes, and it was like okay, I was there and everybody was there, and I tried to tell the people and I didn't know how, and the whole group was shocked, and nobody knew how to get over this point of sadness and of the things. Yes, this was the very worst time for me. Yes,
I remember this time. Yeah, it was very worst. Yeah. And the best.
And the best was the best time. Boom! I think now is my best time.
Now?
I don't know. It's like this. I've now of the Corona time. Perhaps like a lot of people, I have a lot of time to train, and for the moment I train a lot. The only thing what really we don't have is harder. Yes, this is for sure a bad thing, but for training now it's a good time. But my best time, I had my best moment, I don't know. There was no best moment.
Your idea stays in Crete.
It was not my best moment when I got my last quarter or things like this. No, for sure no.
Okay, there were many moments, I think.
Yes.
Pirata says your best moment was in Crete. With him.
You're dreaming, Pirata. But it was a good moment, yes.
Good moment. Yeah.
More than one moment.
Yeah. And how do you feel at the moment during this Corona times? Like also, Chris is asking, how looks your training in the Corona times at home?
I give training now 3 times a week with my students about
Skype.
with Skype, yes, with Skype, and the first 2, 3, 4 weeks was cool, and then I think it was last week. They said, okay, Corona will be there more time, and we have to be. It will be
For longer.
time everything, and I was so fuck. And half hour later, I gave training. I was like no motivation, and I said to my students, "Oh, perhaps we see us the next 3 months or 4 months. Or I don't know, half a year. Not. Perhaps there's no hope." But then I thought, okay, now I will give class, and also my students gave me in this moment motivation, and I think to move in this times it's good for your soul and for your body and everything. You have to.
So in overall, those online trainings with Skype, you think it's a good thing at the moment? It's the best thing you can do.
I think everything is a little bit too much, but I understand the people that they said, okay, now we have to do something. So everybody is putting interviews, trainings, and okay, I can understand, but sometimes it's a little bit too much, because also for the students, I think there are a lot of students that train everything from every teacher, and they make a mix of everything, and then in the end the skiver looks like this. I don't know. But I think for advanced people, this is a good possibility to learn things, because like now you can train with people
You don't see much. Or
you don't see
ever.
much, which are in Brazil or in other countries. And what is also good, you don't have to move, you don't have to take so much time, you only take 2 hours, not a whole weekend, and you don't spend so much money. Most of the trainings are without money. So for advanced people, it's very good. But I think for the beginners, it's better to
Stay with
talk.
the basics.
No, to talk with their trainers and to ask them, what will I do now? And when the trainer say, like, or the teacher, okay, I give class, come to my class online, it's better to go there. Or when he say, okay, look, another capoeirist is giving online class, I think it's good for you, because your teacher is knowing you.
Yeah. So the teacher knows the best.
I hope so.
In first way. So, if you guys got any questions more, send them.
Oh, Mestre Muralha, tudo bem?
Oh, Muralha. Of course, we are getting more or less to the end. I have one more question. It's like, what do you wish from people who are learning capoeira? Like, what do you wish more?
Which kind?
Which kind? Maybe you say like, okay, guys, don't practice too much crazy stuff. Stay with your basic, like you said in the beginning. Or also, I think the question is more like capoeira at all. So it's not only beginners and advanced. What do you wish from your students, maybe, that they should do more or do less?
I think it's. I wish for my students that they try to get this combination of technique with their bass, with flow on the other side. Because sometimes you see people with a good technique, but they're like robot. And sometimes you see people with a good flow, but they're losing their game because they have no technique. And this combination, I think it's important. Because you need swing for Ginga, to make a good game. Without swing, it don't work. But without technique, it's also worse.
Okay. Peachy Bull is asking a question. We answered it already, but okay, let's do it again. What is your advice when you're stuck at a point and don't develop anymore? So we said that's the basics. Train the basics.
Yeah, I think you have to put out from your head that you have limits. That's the first thing. And then I think for advanced people, it's often like this, that they want to have the same feeling like when they get better, because they know about this feeling. In the beginning, they train, and then there was a point, wow, pop, everything is exploding, and then later they want to have the same feeling. But how? This time is over. Sorry, people, that's a reality. You have to search a new fun for you. You can't take the things from the past.
But every sport, it's like this. In the beginning, you grow fast, and after a while, you don't grow fast anymore. So you make little steps.
Yes. And most of the people who have this feeling of stucking, they are searching of this feeling from the beginning. But you have to search for another way to have fun for you. I think that's all.
Okay. So I have no more questions at the moment. People don't have questions anymore. Or you want to tell something?
No. Das hat's gefallen.
I try to scroll.
Gerne, Pitchy.
No, I think we got everything.
No, first, I want to thank everybody who watched this, and also you, that you make this interview possible. And you said to me that you want to make more interviews in the future.
Yeah. Okay, we got one more question.
Okay.
I think this one is the last. How important do you think is acrobatics in the game? Like, is it very important to a lot of acrobatics, or is it more like you don't need it?
It's for yourself. It's a good feeling, and it's also good to know this feeling, because this situation is a situation where you have the feeling of getting free and to go over your limits. And this feeling is switch for your game. But you don't need to make a Mortau to be a good player. But it's nice when you do Mortau.
Nice to have.
Nice to have, yes. When you look the old masters, they don't play with a lot of floreos because they are old, but they have good games, and you can learn a lot of them, of these games.
So I think we come to an end now.
Tudo bem?
So like Arisco said, this was the first time we did something like this, like an interview. And my idea was to do a lot of more interviews with other capoeiristas from Frankfurt, from all over Europe. and I hope you enjoyed. And thanks a lot to Mestre Arisco that you gave us a little sneak into your Capoeira life.
Ja, gerne.
Ciao,
Ich
ciao.
danke euch allen. Obrigadas todos. Thank you, everybody. Till next time.